If you're looking for therapy, you've probably heard of a bunch of different kinds. CBT, EFT, EMDR, DBT, ACT, SE, IFS, trauma-informed, polyvagal-informed, psychedelic-assisted, body-based, bioenergetic, psychoanalytic, blah, blah, blah. Well, in less than 9 minutes, I am going to swipe away all the confusion and give you the skinny on which is the best psychotherapy. Hey everybody, my name is Leah Benson and I am a licensed body-based psychotherapist, coach, and psychedelic guide in Tampa Bay. And today I am going to break down psychotherapy into its simplest parts so you can see that in the end, it's all mostly just all the same goop with different labels slapped on it. So really, you don't have to worry about what kind of psychotherapy someone does because there isn't a best kind. And there's only two things that really matter, which are, what are your goals, and is your therapist any good? So here we go. First off, psychotherapy was invented in the late 1800s, and the basics of how it's done haven't really changed since then, no matter how many different names they've given it, including the recently famous somatic or body-based psychotherapies, because actually some of the early psychotherapists were doing that too. And they called their body-based interventions active techniques. So anyway, the reason it started was because there were a bunch of women who were having something called, what they called, conversion symptoms, which were physical symptoms that did not appear to have a medical cause, like blindness, seizures, random weaknesses, false pregnancies, or paralysis, stuff like that. And what happened was that the inventor of psychotherapy discovered that he could get people to talk their way to remembering experiences that had happened to them, instead of converting their feelings about those experiences into physical symptoms. And then, once they'd talked about those experiences and made sense of them, their symptoms went away. And that's because that's how our brains work. Once we've made sense of experiences that have happened to us in words, we almost always lose the symptoms that were caused by a poor integration and understanding of that experience. And what that means is that the method that was being used to get people to remember their past so that it would stop being problematic in their present through symptoms is exactly how psychotherapy is done today, over a century later. And what that means is that psychotherapy, no matter what name you give it, if it's real psychotherapy and not symptom management coaching disguised as psychotherapy, it is a process of revealing what is in your mind, and we'll just say in your mind-body system, and in your past, that shapes how you make sense of yourself and how you do you in the world today. Most specifically, the way you do relationships, as revealed by how the relationship dynamics unfold for you with the therapist, and how that corresponds with, or not, how you do relationships, including the one with yourself, outside the therapy room. But if I know anything about the marketing of therapy today, and I know a lot about that, I know that that description of therapy doesn't really sound like what you're hearing about what therapy is nowadays, and how it's going to help you at all. And that's because over the years, an idea sprang up that, as I mentioned before, symptom management was the point of psychotherapy, and that the point of going to psychotherapy was to learn exercises and protocols to manage and mitigate your symptoms. And along the way, the idea that understanding why you had the symptoms in the first place became unimportant and irrelevant. So you see, all those alphabet therapies you see out there are all the end result of different people's brilliant science experiments where they developed a protocol to help a group of people get rid of a symptom better than having zero therapy at all. Yeah, literally. Most of the science experiments claiming the usefulness of a type of therapy are gauged against having no therapy at all. And that's what evidence-based therapy is. Someone naming an exercise or a protocol and proving in a science experiment that it helps reduce one symptom better than having zero therapy at all. See the link in the video that appears right here somewhere for a video on that whole charade. So now, to circle back around to the question of what is the best psychotherapy? Well, pick one. Because as you now know, most of them are exactly the same for all intents and purposes. And see if you like the therapist. Because really, unless you have an interest in really getting to know yourself and why you are the way you are, you don't need real psychotherapy. What you want is symptom management. And it really doesn't matter who you pick to help you with that. It really doesn't. It doesn't even really need to be a licensed psychotherapist. It just needs to be someone who will coach you through the protocols and exercises they've learned that are shown in those science experiments I mentioned to help you manage the various symptoms of anxiety, depression, anger, or PTSD that you happen to have at the moment that you're seeking help. Honestly, you literally do not need a real psychotherapist to learn symptom management. You only need one unless you want to uncover the way your past shapes your present. And you want to gain the skills that you need in order to know how to reveal your own mind, in other words, what's in your past, to yourself with complete honesty in the future. And here's the reason you'd want to do that. Because once you have that skill, you'll have the ability that you need to let go any and all symptoms that pop up in your life, whenever they do, because you'll know how to dig into your own mind and figure out what past issues might be coloring your present when things start to go wonky on you. Now, as I've said in past videos, I'm not here to tell anyone whether they should want coaching or psychotherapy. I'm just here to let you know there's a difference. And so, as I said, know your goals. If you want symptom management, pick any alphabet therapy that sounds good to you or go to trauma therapy. And if you want lasting change, pick a psychodynamic or depth psychotherapist. See if you like them and enjoy the ride because it's going to be one of the greatest adventures you can have in life. And if you don't want to look any further, I'd be happy to help you with either because you're the boss of your life. I just want you to know what you're getting into. Hope that helps, and I'll see you next time.